Hello, everyone, and welcome to Kappa Delta Pi's Read Aloud page. I'm Abby, and I'll be reading the book Lon Po Po, A Red Riding Hood Story from China by Ed Young with you all today. I just wanted to discuss quickly with you what the significance of the location of this story is. Now, this video is for students in upper elementary grades, so closer to third grade or above. But as it says, it's a Red Riding Hood story from China. So the discussion we're having today does require a little bit of knowledge about the American version of Red Riding Hood, because we're going to compare them. But I do want to point out on the map behind me here, this is the United States. We're in Louisiana, which is right about where my fingertip is, or really anywhere in the United States here in North America. China is actually over here. So let me point the camera that way a little bit. This is where China is. So it's all the way across the world from the United States, or it's really across the Pacific Ocean. And so that means this story is going to have a bit of a different flavor, a different culture to the Red Riding Hood story. That we can see there is a wolf on the cover. In both stories, there is a wolf in Red Riding Hood and Lon Po Po. So, with that background knowledge, we are going to begin reading. It is translated and illustrated by the author and illustrator Ed Young. And this book is a Caldecott award-winning book from the year 1990. This is the dedication page. To all the wolves of the world, for lending their good name as a tangible symbol for our darkness. The wolf is a symbol for darkness. We'll discuss this more later. Once, long ago, there was a woman who lived alone in the country with her 3 children, Shang, Xiao, and Bozi. On the day of their grandmother's birthday, the good mother set off to see her, leaving the 3 children at home. Before she left, she said, "Be good while I'm away, my heart-loving children. I will not return tonight. Remember to close the door tight at sunset and latch it well." So here we see the mother is telling her children to keep the door tightly shut when nighttime comes. But an old wolf lived nearby and saw the good mother leave. At dusk, disguised as an old woman, he came up to the house of the children and knocked on the door twice. Bang, bang! Shang, who was the eldest, said through the latch door, "Who is it?" "My little Jules," said the wolf. "This is your grandmother, your Po Po." "Po Po," Shang said, "our mother has gone to visit you." This wolf does not look too friendly. The wolf acted surprised. "To visit me? I have not met her along the way. She must have taken a different route." "Po Po," Shang said, "how is it that you come so late?" The wolf answered, The journey is long, my children, and the day is short. So he knows that the mother left. He's telling them a lie. Shang listened through the door. Po, she said, why is your voice so low? Your grandmother has caught a cold, good children, and it is dark and windy out here. Quickly, open up and let your Popo come in, the cunning wolf said. Tao and Botse could not wait. One unlatched the door and the other opened it. They shouted, Popo, Popo, come in! At the moment he entered the door, the wolf blew out the candle. Popo, Shang asked, why did you blow out the candle? The room is now dark. The wolf did not answer. You see the shadow of the wolf here? That's an example of the wolf representing darkness. Here we see them in bed. Tao and Botse rushed to their Popo and wished to be hugged. The old wolf held Tao. Good child, you are so plump. He embraced Botse. Good child, you have grown to be so sweet. Soon the old wolf pretended to be sleepy. He yawned. Oh, all the chicks are in the coop, he said. Popo is sleepy too. When he climbed into the big bed, Botse climbed in at one end with the wolf, and Shang and Tao climbed in at the other. But when Shang stretched, she touched the wolf's tail. Popo, Popo, your foot has a bush on it. There's the wolf's tail. He looks like he's trying not to be caught. He looks a little guilty. Here he's trying to come up with an excuse. Popo has brought hemp strings to weave you a basket, the wolf said. Shang touched grandmother's sharp claws. Popo, Popo, your hand has thorns on it. Popo has brought an awl to make shoes for you, the wolf said. At once Shang lit the light and the wolf blew it out again. But Shang had seen the wolf's hairy face. Oh. An awl is used for making shoes, and hemp string is used for weaving baskets. What do you think is going to happen now that Shang has seen the wolf? How do you think she's going to respond? How would you respond? Let's see what she does. Popo, Popo, she said, for she was not only the eldest, she was the most clever. You must be hungry. Have you eaten ginkgo nuts? What is ginkgo? The wolf asked. Ginkgo is soft and tender, like the skin of a baby. One taste and you will live forever, Shang said. And the nuts grow on the top of the tree just outside the door. The wolf gave a sigh. Oh dear, Popo is old. Her bones have become brittle. No longer can she climb trees. Good, Popo. We can pick some for you, Shang said. The wolf was delighted. Shang is very brilliant. She's coming up with a plan. There they are on the ginkgo tree with the wolf sitting at the base. Shang jumped out of bed, and Tao and Pote came with her to the ginkgo tree. There, Shang told her sisters about the wolf, and all three climbed up the tall tree. The wolf waited and waited. Plump Tao did not come back. Sweet Pote did not come back. Shang did not come back, and no one brought any nuts from the ginkgo tree. At last, the wolf shouted, "Where are you, children?" "Po Po," Shang called out. "We are on top of the ginkgo tree, eating ginkgo nuts." "Good children," the wolf begged, "pluck some for me." "But Po Po, ginkgo is magic only when it is plucked directly from the tree. You must come and pluck it from the tree yourself." Do you think ginkgo nuts are actually magical? And do you think that the wolf will really need to pluck the ginkgo nuts himself? I don't think so. I think Shang is coming up with a brilliant plan. The wolf came outside and paced back and forth under the tree, where he heard the three children eating the ginkgo nuts at the top. "Oh, Po Po, these nuts are so tasty. The skin's so tender," Shang said. The wolf's mouth began to water for a taste. Finally, Shang, the eldest and most clever child, said, "Po Po, I have a plan. At the door, there is a big basket. Behind it is a rope. Tie the rope to the basket, sit in the basket, and throw the other end to me. I can pull you up." The wolf was overjoyed and fetched the basket and the rope, then threw one end of the rope to the top of the tree. Shang caught the rope and began to pull the basket up. Halfway, she let go of the rope and the basket, and the wolf fell to the ground. "I am so small and weak, Po Po," Shang pretended. "I could not hold the rope alone." "This time I will help," Tao said. "Let us do it again." Oh no, they dropped the wolf. Here it is again. The wolf in the basket and the wolf falling down. Let's see. The wolf had only one thought on his mind: to taste a ginkgo nut. He climbed into the basket again. Now Shang and Tao pulled the rope on the basket together, higher and higher. Again they let go, and again the wolf tumbled down, and bumped his head. The wolf was furious. He growled and cursed. "We could not hold the rope, Po Po," Shang said, "but only one ginkgo nut and you will be well again." "I shall give a hand to my sisters this time," Pote, the youngest, said. "This time we shall not fail." What do you think is going to happen next? Do you think they'll succeed in pulling the wolf up, or do they actually want to pull the wolf up? There the wolf is in the basket again. Now the children pulled the rope with all of their strength. As they pulled, they sang, "Hi ho, hi ho," and the basket rose straight up, higher than the first time, higher than the second time, higher and higher and higher until it nearly reached the top of the tree. When the wolf reached out, he could almost touch the highest branch. But at that moment, Shang coughed, and they all let go of the rope, and the basket fell down and down and down. Not only did the wolf bump his head, but he broke his heart to pieces. There they are looking down. "Po Po!" Shang shouted, but there was no answer. "Po Po!" Thou shouted, but there was no answer. "Po Po!" Potse shouted. There was still no answer. The children climbed to the branches just above the wolf and saw that he was truly dead. Then they climbed down, went into the house, closed the door, locked the door with the latch, and fell peacefully asleep. On the next day, their mother returned with baskets of food from their real Po Po, and the three sisters told her the story of the Po Po who had come. The end. So this Po Po was not a friendly Po Po. And Po Po is grandmother. So I want you to think about our regular Red Riding Hood story and how this story is similar to that one. In our story, let's take a look. In our story, well, first let's take a look at ginkgo nuts. So this is a picture of ginkgo nuts. These are the nuts that the children were eating. And here is question 1 that we just asked. How are Shang, Tao, and Peotse similar to Red Riding Hood? So how are they similar? Because Red Riding Hood goes out into the forest and meets the wolf along the way. And what does the wolf try to do? The wolf tries to convince Red Riding Hood that he is her grandmother and he wants to eat her just like the wolf in our story today. And this is a fairy tale, so we're comparing those two. And Red Riding Hood says, "My, what big teeth you have," and notices all the differences. And Shang notices the differences between them as well in this story, between the wolf and the grandmother. Question 2. What is the wolf's motive for coming to the children? Why does the wolf want to open the door and come into their house? The wolf wants to eat Shang, Tao, and Boze. So he wants to have a meal. He's hungry. And he comes up with a clever plan, too, to act as their popo. Question 3. How does the wolf's point of view affect the language the author uses? Well, we know that the wolf wants to eat Shang, Tao, and Boze because of the words used to describe the children. Tao is called plump and Boze is called sweet, like they're part of his meal. So this is one of the pages. It says, "Good child, you are so plump. You have grown to be so sweet." All right, and the last question, question 4. Why does the author say the wolf is a symbol for darkness? Because at the beginning, remember in the dedication, It read, "To all the wolves of the world for lending their good name as a tangible symbol for our darkness." Well, the wolf blows out the candle a couple of times, getting rid of the light and leaving the children in darkness. The darkness also describes things that are not good. The wolf wanted to eat the children, which is not good. And last, because the darkness the wolf caused leaves the children in danger, the wolf is a symbol for darkness and danger. And there is the shadow of the wolf. So I had so much fun reading Lon Po Po with you. And what we're going to do next is we are going to create a craft based off of this story. So stay tuned for our craft. Welcome to Abby's Craft Corner. Hello, and welcome back to our craft. Today, for our Lon Po Po craft, we are going to be making a sort of shadow box. It's the kind that you can interact with after you finish. So I'm going to show you the materials we're using today. You'll need a shoebox. You could also use any kind of box or even make your own box if you need to. But today I'm using a shoebox. I have the kind that opens up from the side. I know some of them you can pull off the top. That will also work because we're gonna make the cover into a door. This works really well, but any kind of cover will also work, but make sure you have a cover if you want to include the door from the story. So we have our box. You also need, you're gonna need 4 sticks. Right now I'm holding 3, but you're gonna need 4 sticks. And also you're going to need, here's my 4th stick. You're also going to need a bundle of sticks to make our ginkgo tree. You're going to need either scissors or some kind of X-Acto knife. If you use anything outside of your regular school supplies, like a small pair of scissors, make sure you have your parents' guidance. You're also going to need paper. So we're going to be drawing our characters from our story. So you'll need paper to draw your characters on, as well as crayons or markers. You could use paint or colored pencils, anything that you would like to use to draw your characters. And I thought this would be a fun addition to our project, but it's definitely not necessary. Some cling wrap. So saran wrap, anything that's clear that you could use to make a window in your door. So when the door is shut, you can still see inside. We'll also need some glue. Today I'm using a hot glue gun. However, that is just to speed up the process. You could also use regular glue or even tape if you need to, if that's what you have at your house. So with that, we're going to get started. So to start my box, I need to cut a window into my door. So I'm gonna make my window a pretty big size, so even when the door is closed, I can see in. You need to be careful because you don't want to damage anything while you're making your cuts. So I have my window for my door, and we're just gonna leave it there for right now. And now we see the inside of our house. And so from the story, there were the 3 children, Shang, Thao, and Bote. And we are going to create our characters to go in the house. We're also going to eventually add a little doorknob so you can open the door. So you can pull out your paper and your colors. And I'm going to pull out our book so we can look at our characters. So in the book, we see our characters have black hair, light skin. I see one of them is wearing green and pink. Let's see. Can we see anything else? One of them is wearing blue. Okay. So, and this is Shang. She's the oldest, and she's going to be our largest character of the 3 girls. And each one is going to get smaller because one is older than the other. So now you can draw your characters. One last thing, make sure they're not too small or too big. So my paper is a little smaller than my box. So that means if I'm going to make a girl, you can hold up your paper to your box and make sure she's not too small or too big for your box, but make her about the right size. So I'm going to probably make Shang about this tall because that's probably a good size for my box. All right, so now I have drawn my 3 girls and I'm going to cut them out now. But since they have arms and legs and I don't want to cut too thin, I'm just going to do an outline around them because that's what I prefer and that's what I'm going to do. You, of course, can do whatever you think is best for your drawings, but I'm going to cut out my characters now and I'll show them to you when I'm done. All right, so this is my characters cut out. You see, I just cut out an outline around them. I didn't want to cut and mess up their arms or fingers or their legs. So that's why I did it this way. And now, since I just did it on regular paper, I'm going to cut out another piece of paper, this shape, to tape to the back side just to make it a little stronger. Or you can use cardboard maybe you want to use the cardboard that you cut off of your door to reinforce the backs of your characters. But no matter which way you do this, you could even go and skip this step. But I just want them to be a little sturdier for when I'm playing with them so they don't get messed up too quickly. So you can tape this however you would like. I'm taping. See, I have both of my papers here for my character. I am going to line them up, make sure they line up. And now I'm going to curl my piece of tape over because I don't have double stick tape. I just have one-sided tape. See, I made a little loop just like that. And I'm going to stick those on the back sides of my character so I can tape the extra paper I just cut out to the back side of my character to make her more sturdy. So here I have my paper with my tape on it. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. You can see some of my tape. And I'm going to take my character and line up the pieces and tape those together. That'll make my character just a little more sturdy for when we play with her. So here I have Shang. She's a little sturdier now, and I'm going to do that to my other characters now as well. Okay, so now I have all three of my characters done. Shang, Tao, and Poze. And I'm going to put them on the side because I still have one other character in the story, don't we? We have the wolf, Popo. He calls himself Popo, trying to trick them. So, if you have extra space on your last sheet of paper, you can use that extra space, or you can use a new sheet of paper. And since we're only drawing one other character, you can speed up the process of the, like when we reinforce the paper, you could fold the paper over to make it double-sided, the same, or you could just cut out the reinforcement, the extra sheet of paper in the same way that you did this last time. To speed up the process, I am going to fold my paper over. And when I cut it out, all I have to do is cut it out once because it's already got two sides. You can draw your wolf any way you like. You can draw it like you see on the cover. Or you can draw the wolf with clothes on. You can incorporate gray fur like you see in this picture of the wolf. But really, you can draw the wolf any way you like. Here it just looks like a little regular wolf. So draw the wolf however you like. You do not need to do it the same way that I do it, just like you didn't need to draw your characters with the same clothes or anything that I drew the other three characters with. Okay, so now I have cut out my wolf. So let me show you my wolf here. I drew my wolf, and since it was double-sided when I cut it out, I had a piece for the back side. So now I'm going to tape that piece to the back. Okay, so I have my wolf nice and sturdy, as well as my other three characters. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our 4 sticks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, you could use popsicle sticks if you prefer. That might be easier for you. But since I did not have popsicle sticks, I am using sticks that I found in the yard. And of course, you could really be as creative with this as you would like. So using regular glue, tape, or hot glue, I'm going to be using hot glue today. We are going to take our stick and we're going to make a hole in the top of our box it's like a puppet basically. We're going to use it to move around our characters inside the house. So we're going to take our stick from the top side and glue it or tape it to the back of our character. So you want the stick to end not beyond the character, because then you won't have as much space to move your character. You want it to end within the white space here. I suggest putting it further down so that she's sturdier on the stick instead of putting it way up here. So put it right in the middle of your character and glue it down for all of your characters. Okay, so now that I have all our characters on sticks, I hope you do as well, we are going to put our characters on the side and then we are going to work on our box again. So bring back your box, and the first thing we want to do is we're going to put a hole in the top of our box so that we can move our characters around while we're playing inside our box. So again, using a parent's guidance, use either the X-Acto knife or your scissors. I prefer using a knife to cut a hole in this box, but of course you can do anything. Just make sure you have someone's guidance who's older. When we make our hole, we'll need enough space to move our characters around. So, in order to do that, we're going to make a hole about a big section of the top of your box so you have enough space to move it around. I'll show you when I'm done. Okay, so I just cut a hole in the top of my shoebox, and I wanted to show you the size of the hole. This gives enough space for my characters to move around. See, I'm moving within this space. So that was the goal for our hole at the top. So now that we have the hole, what I want to do is add whatever decorations you would like to add on your door to make it look more like a door. So you can color, paint, use markers, whatever you'd like to decorate your door. I'm going to decorate mine right now. And you can create a doorknob to go on the door. Okay, so I've decorated my house. I've decorated my door to my house. I even put a little doorknob, see, to open the door with. And now that we have the outside complete, we can add a little bit to the inside. So in the story, they had a bed. So what we can do is, however you would like, you can make a little bed to go inside the house. I'm going to use the square that I cut out from my door to make a window. And I'm going to use that to make the legs and the body of the bed. Okay, so I have glued my bed in place and I put a little pillow on this bed. So now that we have our bed and I made a blanket, so you can make a blanket as well to go on your bed. So my bed is now complete and you can decorate the walls however you would like. I'm sure they had some pictures on the walls. We don't really see a description of what their house looked like in the book, Lon Po Po, but you can decorate the walls however you would like, any color that you would like. You can even use construction paper if you have colored paper that you can make the wall a certain color or you can color it. So here I've decorated the inside of this shoebox, this house. Position the blanket. And you can decorate it as much or as little as you would like, but I know a lot of us like to decorate. So we have the inside of our house complete and the outside of our house complete. But wait, something is missing, isn't there? There's an important part of our story that we have not included yet. There was a ginkgo tree outside the house. So outside the door, we are going to place a bundle of sticks, which represents the ginkgo tree, right outside the door on the side of our shoebox. So I'm putting it on the side that my door opens on. There's no reason you couldn't put it on the other side as well. I'm going to use hot glue. You could use a lot of tape if you would like to do that. You could also use regular glue if you prefer. It'll just take some time to dry. So that you can see my process, I used tape to wrap my sticks together so I didn't need to glue each individual stick. I want to make sure I don't have any loose sticks that might fall out. Okay, so that is an option to help you in your process of gluing or taping. Now I'm going to bring it down to the side here, and I'm going to glue those down. Okay, so now my tree has had some time to dry and the glue is setting. So there we have our tree on the side of our house. That's the ginkgo tree. And at this point, the only other thing we really would need to add is, if you would like to, we can add the window using cling wrap or saran wrap, clear plastic wrap. So I'm going to make it the width of my window here. And I'm going to, so I just measured it and I'm going to cut. or you could tear it off. Okay. I'm going to pull it apart. And what we're going to do is we are going to open up our door. And we are going to either tape it or glue it to the inside of our door. Open it up like this. I'm going to use tape. You'll want to make sure it's pulled tight to imitate glass. So there we have our window, our door, and the inside, the inside of Shang Thao in Botse's house. And when we play, we can have the wolf outside the house. This is great to play with multiple people, like maybe your siblings, if you have any. And so Shang is inside the house with Thao and Botse. Make sure not to drop them. And here's the wolf, and he's gonna bang, bang on the door. And then you can reenact letting him in and being in the house, just like that. And then coming out to the ginkgo tree, coming up and sitting in the ginkgo tree with the wolf down at the bottom. I enjoyed making this craft with you all today and reading Lon Po Po, and I hope that you enjoyed making this craft. I know this is a bit more of a complex craft, but I'm sure yours came out fantastic. And give yourself a pat on the back for doing such a good job. We look forward to seeing you all again in another Kappa Delta Pi video. Keep reading.